African Union Communications, Early Warning, and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command and combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing on the progress of the special military operation as of February 12, 2026. Over the past 24 hours, in response to the Kiev regime's terrorist attacks on civilian infrastructure in Russia, the Russian armed forces launched a strike using long-range ground and air-based precision weapons, as well as unmanned aerial vehicles, against energy infrastructure facilities used by the Ukrainian armed forces, as well as production and storage sites for attack unmanned aerial vehicles. The strike's objectives were achieved. All designated targets were hit. Units of the North Force Grouping have improved their tactical position. Two mechanized brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a territorial defense brigade, and a border detachment of the Ukrainian Border Service were defeated near the settlements of Kondratovka, Andriivka, Myropilya, and Novodmitrivka in Sumy Oblast. In Kharkiv Oblast, units of a mechanized brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces and a territorial defense brigade were defeated near the settlements of Pokrovka and Petrov-Pavlivka in Kharkiv Oblast. The Ukrainian armed forces lost over 210 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 10 vehicles, a Grad multiple launch rocket system, and 2 field artillery pieces. 12 ammunition and supply depots were destroyed. Units of the West Group of forces took up more advantageous positions and lines, defeated the personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces and a National Guard brigade near the settlements of Borovaya, Kovalivka, and Nechvolodovka in the Kharkiv region. The enemy lost up to 180 servicemen, 3 Kazakh armored combat vehicles, 15 vehicles, 4 artillery pieces, and 3 ammunition depots. Units of the Southern Group of Forces improved their position along the forward edge. They defeated formations of a motorized infantry unit, 2 mechanized brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a Marine brigade, and a territorial defense brigade near the settlements of Slovyansk, Konstantinovka, Dmitrovka, Yurkovka, and Nikiforovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The Ukrainian Armed Forces lost over 120 servicemen, a US-made HMMWV armored combat vehicle, 8 vehicles, and a field artillery piece. Units of the Center Group of Forces occupied more advantageous positions and lines. They defeated the personnel and equipment of the Ukrainian Armed Forces Airmobile, Ranger, 3 mechanized brigades, a territorial defense brigade, and 2 National Guard brigades near the settlements of Grishino, Svetlo, Belitskoye, Kucherov Yar, and Sergeyevka in the Donetsk People's Republic, and Novopavlivka, Gavrilovka, and Novopidgorodne in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. Ukrainian armed forces lost up to 315 servicemen, a German-made Leopard tank, an armored combat vehicle, 9 vehicles, and 2 field artillery pieces. Units of the East Force Group continued to advance deep into the enemy's defenses. They defeated formations of a mechanized assault and airborne assault brigades and 3 assault regiments of the Ukrainian Armed Forces near the settlements of Gorka, Rivne, Samoilovka, Nikolskoye, Charivne, Rozovka, and Barvinovka in Zaporizhzhia Oblast and Tikoye in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. The enemy lost over 390 servicemen, 2 armored personnel carriers, 15 armored combat vehicles, 19 vehicles, and 3 artillery pieces. Units of the Dnipro Forces Group defeated the manpower and equipment of a heavy mechanized brigade and an unmanned systems brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces near the settlements of Novoalexandrivka in Zaporizhzhia Oblast and Vesely in Kherson Oblast. Up to 55 Ukrainian Armed Forces personnel, 23 vehicles, 4 artillery pieces, including a US-made 155mm M777 howitzer, a Grad multiple launch rocket system combat vehicle, 4 electronic warfare stations, and an ammunition depot were destroyed. Tactical aviation, attack drones, missile forces, and artillery of the Russian armed forces damaged military airfield infrastructure, transport infrastructure used by the Ukrainian armed forces, and temporary deployment sites of Ukrainian armed forces and foreign mercenaries in 147 districts. Air defense assets shot down 5 Flamingo long-range cruise missiles, 6 guided aerial bombs, 8 U.S.-made HIMARS multiple launch rockets, and 201 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the following have been destroyed: 670 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 113,637 unmanned aerial vehicles, 650 anti-aircraft missile systems, 27,620 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,664 multiple launch rocket system combat vehicles, 33,234 field artillery pieces and mortars, 54,176 special military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.